I'm serious, nigga. What do y'all niggas got to say? Hey, baby. Hey, baby, get some bubble gum in this motherfucker, so. Right, baby, get some of y'all. Study long, study wrong, nigga.
Hi, I'm Sam, one of the founders of Sipsmith, and behind these wonderful blue doors lies one of London's little secrets, little gems, the first copper distillery in London for nearly 200 years. Come and meet Prudence and the Sipsmith team.
Laid back.
With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street, smoking in now, sipping on gin and juice.
Laid back.
With my mind on my money and my money on my
Now
mind.
I got me some Seagram's gin. Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Now this type of shit happens all the time. You gotta get yours, but fool, I gotta get mine.
Hi, my name's Sam, and I'm one of the founders of Sipsmith Independent Spirits, based here in Hammersmith, West London, where we've set up the first copper distillery in London for nearly 200 years. And this is Prudence herself. I'd like to introduce you to her. She's one of the first members of the team here. Prudence and her entire setup here was designed by a family called Christian Carl down in Bavaria, a family that had been making pot distilleries for nearly 200 years, and a craft which has been handed down from generation to generation. And they share an equal passion as we do about the quality of everything that we make. But what we've designed here with them is a really unique setup. It's actually nothing like her in the world, and she can actually do 4 different things. And I'm going to very quickly run you through exactly what those 4 things are. This current setup of piping here is actually all about the vodka. So she can make a vodka. She can also make a Carterhead style gin. This is a botanical vessel which acts a lot like a Carterhead style gin. A Carterhead style distillery, in fact, would have a suspended tea bag, if you like, filled with different botanicals that the rising vapours would go up through and take with it the essences and the congeners from the flavourings and pass up through to condenser. We put our Carterhead style, or what we call a botanical vessel, to the side of it, which allows us also to look at producing flavoured style vodkas and add to our family of independent spirits. So we have a botanical chamber here that we use. This particular unit here is called a pre-condenser. It's a 5-plate bubble pre-condenser which spirit passes up through. This is just used in the vodka. So the vapours will pass up through these different gates and chambers, reaches the top where there's water flowing, comes back down as a liquid because it's cooler at the top, settles on these plates where it redistills. We're trying to expose it to copper again and allow it just to be redistilled on 5 different plates. We can open these plates up as well, allow the spirit to pass back down and through this reflux pipe in the back into the still where we can distill it again. And then we collect our vodka as it comes over the other side. The other thing that we can do is straight one-shot gin. Now the piping structure is not set up for it, but we have a pipe that connects from that swan's neck straight over to the condenser. And that's how we make our gin. And using that setup as well, we can actually also make a London whiskey or an eau de vie. So we can use an original mash or a cider wash, put it into the still and actually distill it there. And so really she's incredibly versatile, and so she can make really 4 different things, and we're very, very proud of that indeed. I lived in America for a long time. While I was over there, I was very fortunate enough to have witnessed the great and amazing boom of microbreweries that were over there, and witnessed too this amazing sort of hyper-different offering of wines that were there, and there was a lot of consumer interest in all of those. But the one last bastion that remained in the drinks industry that was yet to really flourish, which I was very fortunate enough to have witnessed, was this small boom in small artisanal micro distilleries that were opening up in individual states as the laws lifted to allow these wonderful small boutique distilleries to open. And I visited a number of them. And actually what I found so amazing, was so infectious, seeing the energy and the art and the passion of all the different actual makers and the owners of them, and to stand beside them and distill and to really witness the passion that they had for it was really amazing and actually quite inspirational. You know, when I returned to London with Fairfax, we really saw a really exciting opportunity to be able to actually reintroduce this art of small handcrafted distillation back to its roots here in London.
I think actually that's it's a great point. Sorry, Fairfax, one of the other founders of Sipsmith, it's a great point Sam makes. Why London? Because when we came back from the States, we wanted to bring this artisanal, handmade spirit and this kind of tradition back to the UK. We could have chosen anywhere, but we actually chose London because it had such a history of particularly gin distillation, and we felt it was actually a shame that all these distilleries that once made London their home had moved away. And by being right in the heart of the capital, it also makes the distillery itself really accessible. We can actually bring people down here, we can show them how we do it, we can lift the veil, if you will, on distilling and show that there really are no secrets. This is truly a handmade process. This is a tiny distillery, 500 square feet. It's a 300-litre copper pot still. We make small batches, just 200 to 300 bottles a time. It really is a genuine handmade product, and people can see that and witness for themselves. And by being in the heart of the city, it makes that actually achievable. Yeah, and one of the biggest challenges for us was that because no one had actually set up a distillery in London for almost 200 years, since Beefeater really in 1820, that for a generation in Customs and Excise, they hadn't actually issued a distiller's license. So we were actually talking to the local HMRC office, explaining to them what we wanted to do, and they just didn't know how to go about it. And it took us eventually 2 years to get this extremely unexciting bit of paper. After all that effort, we thought we might get a scroll, something beautiful, but you can see here again, it's actually handwritten. You can imagine them sitting around the table saying, now what are we going to call this particular excise trade? Oh, it's a distiller's license, fabulous.
We've launched so far with a barley vodka and a London dry gin. In particular the vodka, a lot of people say, well, why vodka? The definition, in fact the American definition of a vodka is an odorless, flavourless product. And we really wanted to really show them that actually, while there are a lot of odourless and flavourless products out there, that actually it can be you can actually produce a vodka that has genuine flavour, mouthfeel, quality, and a product that just keeps on giving after you've sipped it. Copper distilled, unfiltered vodka. On the nose, a surprising amount of flavour actually for a straight, odourless, neutral vodka. But actually what we've got is a nice little bit of sweetness, almost sort of sugared hazelnut or something. There's definitely some nuttiness that comes through from the barley.
First thing you notice, absolutely phenomenal, is mouthfeel. It's a word which is not normally typically described or used to describe spirits, but it's really a wine word. But it just screams mouthfeel. It's so soft, so rounded, so smooth. What follows after that is this beautiful sweetness. Real kind of like light sort of candy floss, sugar, just coating the palate. No glycerin added. This is not sugared. There's no fructose, there's no glycerin, there's nothing else that is not natural. This is all from the raw barley. And we achieve that because we don't filter it. We don't have to filter it because we're rejecting the heads and the tails and just keeping the good bit.
Now we're going to taste the London Dry Gin. First thing to note, on the nose, wonderful. I mean, it's definitely gin. That juniper's really carrying. There's a wonderful top note of citrus. I'm also picking up some really nice top floral notes, that sort of violet floral notes that are definitely coming through from the orris fruit. Beautifully smooth, no burn at all, wonderful sippable product. Wonderful rich mouthfeel again, a lot of that sort of creaminess coming through from that heart cut that we've taken. But there's a nice wonderful front of those piney green grassy notes in the juniper with a top lovely balance of the citrus, almost sort of lemon tart-like notes that are really coming through. But I think the key thing is here it's balanced. It's not overpowered by one thing or another. There's a wonderful structure here that is there to really be able to carry wonderfully in a tonic. And that's really what we ultimately wanted. And of course, if it was in a straight martini too, it's going to work like an absolute dream. Here's to you, here's to Drink, here's to Prudence.
To Prudence.
Laid back.